I suppose we are positioning ourselves as more as a climate tech play. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because in the end, well, that's our incentive. I think ag tech is certainly more focused. I personally felt, has been more focused on operational efficiency and reducing the risks for grower. But if you put it in a climate tech wrapper, what I mean by that, what are you optimizing for? We're optimizing for improving the environment. We're optimizing for repairing the planet. That's what we're optimizing for, and so. And that's been the problem, right? That's the problem for farmers. They've been optimizing for the wrong thing. They were optimizing for cheaper food. And so if we can get them to optimize for repairing the planet, then the byproduct of repairing the planet is better food and more food. So, if there's kind of a better way of probably articulating what is our kind of what we're trying to achieve is change the optimization. So we're actually designing a turnkey solution right now, taking a bit like what the vertical farming and everything is doing is, can we take a piece of land and redesign how you do the orchard, how many trees you have in it, where you're not thinking about producing as much fruit as possible. You're thinking about, how do I maximize carbon sequestration, utilizing apple trees and other crops in here to maximize sequestration, and then obviously you utilize the byproduct of that optimization is food. So it's just your KPI is carbon in the soil. You're not worried about bringing a crop off it. And guess what? You actually do end up optimizing for. You actually do end up increasing yield. What I mean by that is we're planting more trees. We're putting more cover crops in, and you're going to get more fruit coming off it, and more nutritious fruit coming off it as well. But it's just changing the KPI that drives the financial decision to invest in that and make that decision. We're basically putting tunnels, for example, over the top of apple trees, like putting cover over them to reduce the risks of all these extra issues like the climate change. And it normally thinks, oh, that's expensive. Not if you actually work out the revenue you can earn from carbon, the revenue that you would then earn from improved product. And you're not having to spray, you're not having to run the tractor through there multiple times. You actually only need to do it through once. When you model out the numbers, and we're hopefully going to prove this out from a turnkey solution perspective, it's more about showing let's just not continuing to build it under the legacy of old knowledge. It's just, if we actually change our optimization metric, the thing can become, you can build a sustainable agricultural system.
Amazing. It sounds like we've been saying, I was just watching a video earlier of Isaac Asimov in 1988 saying, yeah, climate change is really big this year. Everyone's talking about climate change. I've been talking about it for 20 years. So people have been a long time. Like, chaps, why don't we solve climate change? But it sounds like what you've managed to do is to say, well, one thing that would really help is if we changed our agricultural practices. That's what we want to solve climate change. One thing that would help is to change our agricultural practices. We know that you, farmers, these are some things that you need. We're going to help you to solve those problems. And we're going to get this thing that this other group of people need, right? So these people over here need to offset their carbon. We're going to get them to pay for it. So what they want and what you want, we're going to bring them together to magically create what we want, which is, we've just solved 19% of climate change. Is that an oversimplification?
No, that's it. No, exactly. Like there's those that can create impact and positive impact. They just haven't got an incentive to do it. There's no financial incentive to do it. And there are those who want to create damage, but then we just don't reward. We don't tax negative externalities of what we do as human beings. We subsidize them, if anything. We effectively are subsidizing, fossil fuel consumption. That's what we've been doing for years. So we've now built a whole economies on fossil fuel consumption. We didn't think about the negatives that it will generate, and now those negatives are. I think there's a stat which I like, is for every, I think natural capital generates the natural ecosystem services, be it pollination, carbon sequestration, oxygen, climate regulation, which our nature provides us, generates in terms of economic value is 2 times of what our GDP is globally. It's 2 times. But what is happening is, for every additional 1 billion of GDP, we're destroying 2 billion worth of ecosystem services each year. So it's unsustainable. So if you won't be able to produce that GDP very, very soon because you won't be able to sustain it. Like it'll be burnt down, it'll be destroyed because this ecosystem services is not working well. I mean, we're seeing that now, right, on a daily basis. So we're just not quantifying that. So yeah, you're right, exactly as you describe it. So that's all I'm trying to do is incentivize those who can create and repair. We still need to consume. Like we're not going to change, right? We can't stop humans from consuming. That's not going to happen. So how about could we just continue to consume in a way that repairs and regenerates at the same time? And I don't think there's a better industry that can do that other than agriculture. We can produce food that is helping to repair the planet. It's not maintains its status quo at net zero. Every apple you eat is helping to reverse climate change. That's what I want. Not apple, but every pear, every cherry, every perennial, every tea, every blueberry. Certainly perennial crops can do that, I believe. Personally, can lead the way. And then we can move on to the annuals other foods. But food should be a solution to climate change, not a cause of climate change. It just baffles me.